My fiancé said, let's postpone the wedding until I figure out my career. I replied, take your time. What she didn't know was that I'd already paid for everything. $20,000 in deposits, all non-refundable. The venue in Aspen was locked in. My entire family had already bought their plane tickets from Michigan. Her dress had just finished being altered and was ready for pickup. 70 people had RSVP'd yes. I'd been working overtime for 8 months straight to pay for it all. That Friday, Jessica sat me down after getting transferred to the Denver office. Said she needed 6 months to establish herself there before taking time off for a wedding and honeymoon. Said being the new person and immediately leaving for 2 weeks would hurt her reputation. Take all the time you need, I said calmly. She seemed shocked I wasn't upset. I helped her move her wedding dress to the back closet without a word of protest. The next morning, while she was apartment hunting in Denver, I called all the vendors, lost every deposit. $20,000 gone in 5 phone calls. The caterer kept apologizing, saying they wished they could help, but policy was policy. The venue coordinator actually cried when I explained. My mom called asking if she should still fly out early to help with preparations. I told her to cancel everything. Then I did something Jessica would hate if she knew. I withdrew my last $1,000 from our joint savings and drove to Colorado to start that wilderness EMT course I'd been accepted to 3 years ago but turned down because Jessica said outdoor careers were for people without ambition. As I drove west, I threw my resignation letter into the mailbox at my accounting firm. 8 months of overtime, gone. But maybe I'd finally be able to breathe again. 8 weeks later, after finishing my EMT certification, I was working as a wilderness guide out of Boulder. The company hired me immediately because guides with medical training were rare. I was living cheap, renting a room from another guide, finally doing what I loved. The mountains became my office. Meanwhile, my friend Tom told me Jessica was falling apart in Denver. She'd bombed her first big presentation, showing up exhausted from trying to keep up with the 20-somethings at networking events. Got written up for missing a morning meeting after a company happy hour ran late. Posted constantly about grinding and hustling while looking increasingly miserable in every photo. She kept texting our mutual friends, asking if I'd really left the finance world or if I was just trying to prove a point. Tom said she'd started drinking wine alone most nights, stalking my inactive social media accounts. That's when I met Willow during avalanche rescue training. She was a park ranger who'd worked backcountry for 5 years. While everyone else talked about their old careers and salaries, she taught me how to read snow conditions and identify bird calls. Never asked what I used to do or why I'd left. After 2 weeks of training together, we were partners on every shift. One Thursday morning, while Willow and I were checking trail conditions, my phone blew up with texts from Jessica. I made the worst mistake of my life. Denver is miserable without you. Can we talk about rescheduling the wedding? Then another. Tom told me you're in Colorado too. Are you seriously working as a hiking guide? And another. I'll transfer back. We can have our spring wedding. I kept all the planning folders. Then came the desperate ones. Please answer me. I know you're getting these. I can see you're reading them. I showed the texts to Willow. She read them and said, tell her you found someone who doesn't need to postpone living. So I sent that exact message. Jessica called immediately, crying, saying she'd quit her job and move wherever I wanted, that she'd been promoted, but it meant nothing without me, that the Denver apartment felt like a prison, that she'd already looked at venues for a smaller wedding. I didn't answer. She texted again. You gave up a 6-figure salary to play in the mountains? You're going to regret this when you're 40 and broke. Then, I'm driving to Boulder right now. We need to talk. I blocked her number. Tom later told me she'd shown up at 3 different outdoor gear stores looking for me, mascara running down her face. Willow grinned and said, should we tell her we're getting married next month at base camp? We both started laughing and scared off some bighorn sheep on the ridge above us. I finally got the mountain wedding I'd always wanted.